Because you didn't need all that stuff on the recording.
Yeah,
How are you doing?
I am good. I am
Good.
good. I've already made like a few changes just
Oh,
since your talk.
okay.
Um, Getting up earlier,
Awesome.
having more control of my day, things like that to try to help. But I'm excited for today.
Oh, me too. So I sent you an email. I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at it.
I
Um,
did not look at it,
that's
but I
okay. I
do
was just
have it in
saying,
front of me.
all I was saying was if we are moving pretty quickly this morning, and we don't need to take a full hour, we can just count this, if we're 45 minutes or less and we feel like we're done, we'll just
Okay.
count it as a half hour. So you'll still end up with like 8 sessions.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I love it.
So that might be easier rather than, sure, I could keep you on for an hour, but there's no need. If there's no need, if we're needing to, we will.
Yeah,
Um,
and if I end up needing more time or if this is really productive and it's making me better, like I don't mind extending my time out
yeah,
either. I just started thinking about it and I'm like 30-minute sessions, that's like months.
yeah, we can stretch that out however long we need.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
So,
so we can rock and roll with that. Um, so kind of where I like to get started is just sort of asking you, really to make sure that we have like a solid plan.
okay.
So right now we're looking at 4 hours. What is a win going to look like or feel like to you? Like what will make this time for you feel productive, feel like it was worth it?
Okay, so for me, a win is I kind of showed you my commission structure. It was a few
Hmm.
weeks ago, so I don't know how much you remember, but it's tiered.
Yep.
So I am behind, like I'm not at the top tier right now because I'm not getting the type of new sales that they want me to get.
Right.
So if at the end of this I am on premium with stuff in my pipeline of the right type of client that I need to stay there,
Okay.
that would feel like a success to me.
Okay.
It's not that I'm even behind right now. I'm not behind, but I still need, and to be even more specific, I still need exactly um, right now. Hold on, let me look at it
Okay.
because I can. I'm gonna do this through May, so I can tell you exactly what I need. And luckily, we have like every kind of reporting that you can think of, which makes it really easy for me to tell you exactly. um, oh no, I can't. Oh, is it going to let me in? Okay. Um, so by the end of May, I need exactly two PCS sales in the amount of $2,078 combined.
Okay.
And that will put me exactly where I need to be and set me up for success
Okay.
moving.
So you need those two sales, but you need more of those people in the pipeline to keep you moving.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All
But
right.
those, if I just got those two sales for the $2,078, that would put me in premium, which would pretty much triple what I'm making in commission right now.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah. That
um,
would definitely be worth.
yeah, that would
Oh,
feel like a huge win to me. Having extra in the pipeline is a bonus. But
right.
if we're doing the work to get me to this, I will have
Yeah.
extra in the pipeline. It's just
Yeah.
that's a side effect of doing all the things.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Let me take this off. Doesn't need to be there. Um, I just have your notes folder open at the
Yeah.
same time. Um, all right. I mean, we can do that. We got
Yeah.
we got 8 sessions to get that done and figured out. Um, so with you getting up earlier, what are you doing in that morning time?
So, one, I've defined my um, client facing time as 9 to 12 and 2 to 4. So I try to do nothing but prospect or talk to new clients during those 5 hours a day. So when I get up earlier, I'm trying to be at my desk between 7 and 7:30, which gives me an hour and a half to prep my day, answer emails, do all of the admin stuff that I have to do. Let me share my screen with you. All
Okay. So you say
right.
you're getting to your computer like 7:30, so you're doing all your like pre get the day started.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of the things that makes us different is, let me see too. Do you still see an Excel spreadsheet?
Mm, It's taking a second. There it is.
All right, that's not the Excel spreadsheet. Let's see.
Oh,
Um,
thought it was there a
uh,
second ago. Oh, there it
there.
is.
All right. So we do things a little bit different. We don't just walk into a business and say, "Hey, I want to sell you marketing."
Hmm.
We go in with a purpose. So, one, I'm able to use, I'll show you in a minute, but I'm able to use a map to where all the places I'm going to drop into
That's
are
right. You told me
clustered
that.
together,
Yep.
which really helps save time. But then I do research on every account I'm going to go into.
Okay.
So, I have a purpose for going in. So for this first one, for example, their website isn't secure. And it's mainly because it hasn't been updated in so long that they just haven't updated the security. This one, the
So
website needs,
these aren't current accounts. These are accounts you're trying to get.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So when I walk in, instead of just saying, "Hey, I I I can help you with marketing," I go in and I say, "Hey, your site is outdated. Is that an issue for you? Is that something you'd like to correct in 2025?" Or, "Hey, you're on your website, it says your main focus is on custom shirts, but if I look up custom shirts in Auburndale, you're not showing up as an option." So
Okay.
that's one of the things that makes us different as we go in there with a purpose. And
Yep.
because we go in there with a purpose, it
You
we're
have
not just
conversations.
we have an actual conversation.
Yep.
Whether they're like, and then with objections, I'm pretty good at overcoming objections, but
Right.
this kind of work does take time because I have to look at every account, go to every website, and then
Right.
do a couple of searches for their industry,
Okay.
to find these gaps.
Okay.
Um, and then for the maps, let's see here.
Don't you love when people have broken links? I'm just seeing that on yours.
Yes, isn't that annoying?
And
Like,
they don't I have a client that I work with. And I was actually trying to get on her calendar because she does some life insurance stuff. And like 2 weeks prior in one of our coaching calls, I'm like, you need to make sure that all your links are updated. I went in, it was a broken link, and she has somebody that does it for her and didn't know that it wasn't done. I was like, oh, geez.
well, people don't check it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, most people set their websites up and then they don't ever check it again.
Yep.
So this is kind of how I'm able to plan my route. I can put everything from a specific zip code on a map, and
Yep.
then these are the ones that I've already put on my route for the day. These are the ones that I still need to do research on and put them on my
Okay.
route. And I even go in and I look at them individually to make
Right.
sure that it is a business address and not a house, because
Yep.
I'm not going to drop into a house. So
Right.
I can be very specific. Another
Okay.
thing I want to
That's
show
awesome.
you is, let me share my other screen because I only have three. So this is how I know exactly what I need. Right
Okay.
now, I'm on base pay. It goes base, standard, and premium. I want to be back on premium.
Of
So
course.
right now, it says that in a rolling 3 months, I have zero of the PCS leads that I need to have. Um, and I've gotten two sales, and this is the dollar amount I have, and this is what I need. But
Okay.
this always prepares us for the next month. So by the end of April, I need um one sale for or for PCS. I need two sales for standard and two sales for premium. The only difference is the dollar amount. So if I get two sales, even if it's below this 2,000, I'll at
Mhm.
least have booked up to standard pay instead of base pay. So even one sale would be a win if I at least got it for 1140.
Now, if
Um,
you had like four premium, does that wipe out the two standard, or you still need two standard?
if I have no, so it's all about dollar amount and number. So
Okay.
number for standard and premium right now is the same. I need two
Okay.
sales period.
Okay.
And then I need either this dollar amount on top of the two sales. It has to be at least this dollar amount, which our minimum is 800. So
Hmm.
no way I can get two sales and not at least get this.
Hmm.
But I would need at least two, a little over $1,000 sales in order to get to premium. So I
So now,
love this.
yeah, that makes it so easy to see.
And then on top of it being easy to see that way, and I broke it down yesterday for myself because I knew we were meeting today,
Hmm.
is I can go in also and see how many calls and visits is it taking me a week in order to get the opportunities I need in order to get the sales. So we
Right.
can really break this down. So it shows what my daily target is based off of my performance. So it's not just
Okay.
what they want. So at the end of the day, basically what it's telling me is I need 6 opportunities for the week in order to get a sale every other month. And an
Okay.
opportunity is an appointment. So
So you're doing a
basically,
drop in, and your hope from the drop in is to schedule an appointment.
right. And
Okay.
I need 6 appointments right now to get a sale.
Okay.
Um, for the and then for the month, in order for me to get the two sales, I need basically 24 appointments. So if I get 6 appointments a week, I can't fail. And
Yeah.
that's based off of my own statistics, which I would like
Yeah.
to improve that a little bit more too.
Well, yeah, that'd be
And then
awesome.
and also in order to get those 6 appointments a week, my numbers say I need to do 31 drop-ins and phone calls a day, or 159 for the week. So like I have it, I mean, they help us break it down to a
Right.
science, which is fantastic. So I
Now it's
know
just
if,
maximizing the time and going
yes,
in with a plan. It's awesome that you have that, because one of the things I wrote down was what's in it for me.
yeah.
When you are going in to places, how are you positioning yourself, which you've already answered.
Yeah, so if I know that if I can get at least those 31 touch points a day, and if my schedule is too busy to get those, if I at the end of the week have 160 basically, then I
Hmm.
know that I will get the appointments I need, which I
Right.
know will lead to sales because they're my numbers, not the company's numbers.
Right.
Um,
When you have an appointment, like when you get that appointment set, are you doing anything for them in that appointment other than like
um,
laying out what you could do for them?
in the appointment, we do a really good discovery call. So I ask
Okay.
them all the questions. If I could get in front of them, I can typically sell them.
Right.
Um, it's it's overcoming the objections, which again I'm good at, but I feel like that's kind of where the problem is right now. I used to be able to do a lot less drop-ins and calls and get a lot more appointments. So
Okay.
that I think is where the problem is, because if I could get in front of you and I have a reason to be there
Right.
and you're willing to talk to me, I'm probably going to close 1 in 4.
Right. That makes sense. So
So
what do you think is stopping you?
I I that's
Are you getting
that's
in your head? Are you getting in your
I
head?
think I'm in my own head. I think that sometimes when you hear no all day long, you
Hmm.
almost expect it going in the door.
Yep.
And lately I know that in sales you can't take the first no as the
Right.
final no. So like I haven't done the follow-up question. And just saying it out loud makes it sound so like, okay, then ask that
Right.
follow-up question. Like,
So
oh,
what is the follow-up question typically?
well, it depends on the objection. So if
Right.
the objection is like, oh no, we're good. We have someone handling that for me. And I'm like, okay, well, one, you should show them what I just showed you because I would be concerned about that if I was you. And two, does that mean you're as busy as you want to be? Because that's an easy one for them to be like, well, no. And I'm like, I'm
Right.
not. And if I can get them to say no to, oh, are you, that means you're as busy as you want to be. If they say no to that, I kind of got them, I feel,
Right. Because you
because
want to draw in more traffic. Now, your
yeah,
sale, it's not like a one time. It's a reoccurring monthly payment that they're going to pay. So
yes,
you're showing, I'm assuming you're showing the value of like the ROI.
yeah. And again,
Okay.
like once I get to the appointment and I can get
Hmm.
in front of them, I can make it make sense to them because I can
Hmm.
show them the ROI.
Right.
They've already told me what they're looking for. If they tell me they want 10 more clients a month, I tell them what
Hmm.
they have to do to get there. It's very simple. And then I tell
Hmm.
them, hey, you're going to give me $1,000. I'm going to give you 10,000 back. I
Right.
mean, that makes perfect sense. So if I can get in front of them, it's doing the drop-ins and the phone calls, taking
Right.
the first no, which I know that's the
Yeah.
problem, and and not pushing them just one step further because
Right.
I do feel like everyone's gut reaction is just to say
Well,
no when someone
it's
calls
always
them.
no immediately. I
Yeah,
mean, I go into a store looking for an item that I cannot find, and a salesperson says, "Can I help you?" And I say, "No, I'm good."
no, I'm good.
And I literally am there needing help, looking for something specific. But immediately I say no, and it's like, I mean, okay, yeah, I do actually need some help.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, it is getting past that. Do you guys have any like guarantees or like any money back stuff or
We don't have money back stuff, but
okay.
we do have proof of performance. We
Hmm.
do have a dashboard that we're able to show for other people in their industry spending the same amount of money, what their actual
Right.
results are. Every month, we go over the results with the client and
Yeah.
provide more value to make their program work even better.
Right.
Um, in
You just
my,
need the opportunity to show that to them, you know. And
yes,
so I think one of the notes is, you know, if you have a couple minutes, you know, can I show you
mhm,
like what others are paying in your industry in the area, whatever the comparable things might get them thinking more. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, I mean, you already know you have to ask the next. How are
Yeah.
you how are you transitioning from when you leave one no and you're going into the next? Do you have any sort of process for yourself?
No.
Okay.
So I leave like one, the appointments are usually so close together. It's like
Hmm.
some of them are walking distance. I'm literally
Yeah.
walking next door. Um, and so no, I just go into the next one. I'm pretty good about keeping like I don't hear no and then I'm pouting and I have to go into
Right.
the next one and I'm still pouting. Like every new opportunity is a new
Yeah.
opportunity to me, and you have to get through the no's to get to the yeses. I know that I'm stuck with um, asking that follow up question, taking the first no for an answer. And this has not always been a problem for me. So I don't know why it's a problem right
Yeah.
now.
I think
But
part of it
my
is part of it is, I mean, you're putting pressure on yourself that you didn't put before.
because I've always just not that I've always just succeeded, but trying to transition between just being a sales rep and being a sales rep slash manager and
Hmm.
having a team that's also taking away my time
Right.
has
You're putting more
definitely
pressure on each appointment because you're not going to be able to spend as much time. And so you're putting that additional pressure. One of the things that'll will potentially be helpful is we call them like startup and shutdown routines. It does not have to be super long, but like
mhm,
what are you doing when okay, you leave the one appointment, whether it's a yes or a no, that transitions you to walk into the next. And even if you're walking down the road, I mean sometimes it's as simple as like if I have like a back-to-back call,
mhm,
I'll make my final notes. I'll get up. I'll use the bathroom. I'll grab a water. and then I'll pull up the next notes. Like it's as simple as getting up, moving for a second,
Mm-hmm.
closing out the one and starting another.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. Oh, sorry. I didn't turn off my notifications and the phone just rang. Let's turn that notification. So it might be trying to figure out like what is just a small way that you can close one out before you can move into the next.
I do stop to one, look at the next location I'm going to
Yep.
and look at their marketing gap. So,
Okay.
because I have to know that when I walk in. So I guess
Yep.
that is a little bit of a
That's a little bit.
transition. But maybe I do need more.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just
And it doesn't
like
like for you, it might not even be super complicated. Um, so one of the coaches that I got my certification through, he talks about three keys to keep it simple. He's like a baseball guy. And
mhm.
like, so the three keys might be, you know, breathe, see the ball, hit the ball, right? Like,
Yeah.
but like three simple phrases. Like for you, it might be, right? Like whatever you're there for. Okay. Marketing gap. It could be
And I
don't
make
take,
notes from the previous one because I print everything out to
right,
make it go as fast as possible. So I'll make notes on what happened in the last appointment too,
right.
or
So
the
once you've
last
closed
step
out the notes for the last appointment, open up your new appointment and like what are the and then follow it up with okay, these are my three keys. All right. I'm gonna take a breath. I'm gonna refocus on this client. I'm not gonna take no, and then maybe
in.
there's an affirmation or, you know, I'm prepared. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to get this next client. Whatever those, and just keep it super simple, super
Hmm.
basic, but reiterating in your mind. Um, it's, I love the go for no. I love
Yeah.
that concept to try to like make the no's like not as big a deal to you. But at the
Hmm.
same time, like I don't want to be thinking about going for no, right?
Hmm.
Like I don't want to be training my brain to keep looking for no's. Like that's a great concept in the don't let it get you down. But just like when I was at the training and we did the hex nut,
Hmm.
right? We want to be training our thinking like, okay, this next one's the yes. Like I'm getting the yes.
And that's another thing that why I think it's like a mindset block because I haven't had as much success lately with the drop-ins, which is my own fault. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm think like as I'm going through, I'm like, great, I'm on my 10th drop-in. I still don't have an appointment. I need an appointment today.
Mm-hmm. And then it becomes more pressure.
Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
I've never really felt this kind of pressure before. One, because now I'm doing two jobs in one, and
Right.
two, because I've always just gotten the sales to where I didn't put this kind of pressure on me. Like my goal is to get the sales the first week of the month, and
Yeah.
then everything else after that is
It's setting
just
you up. Yeah.
for the next month. And then
Mm-hmm.
you have 3 weeks to do it. So I do know that I'm feeling pressure and I
Okay.
do know that I'm struggling with it. And instead of just trying to like I feel like when I'm doing the drop-ins, I'm just trying to get through it
Hmm.
instead of staying in the moment and asking that extra question. I'm like, no, okay, thanks. On to the next.
Right. Because you're turning into okay. Well, as long as I hit the amount of people I have to see
Yeah.
instead of maximizing the time. Okay. Visualize.
Which
I'm
is
just taking.
hiring my target at the same time on how many drop-ins I have to see because it's
Because your percentage isn't
now
as
more
solid.
because I'm getting more no's because I'm not taking the time.
Mm. Okay. Um, I'm making some notes because I know there's definitely some things I want to bring in when we talk next week.
Mm-hmm.
I think one visualization will be huge. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
visualizing how you want the next meeting to go, how you want that, how you want to feel, how you want the client to feel, right? How you want that success to look. Also, the idea that even though there's like, even though you haven't had a sale, like, and you need that next appointment, like your process should be the same regardless.
Yeah. And
And
literally, I got a sale last week. It was just the wrong kind of sale. So it's not that I'm
right,
not getting sales,
right,
because I am still getting sales. I'm just not getting the right
right.
kind of sale. And I don't want to discount what I'm worth. And that's what happens when I sell something. Like if it was a bonus sale, great, but I still got to do those PCS
Right.
or I'm discounting what I do.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. Um, I like to think about, right, like even in sports, you go to the free throw line, how, somebody's shooting free throws, how many times throughout the whole game, no big deal. Suddenly you get to 2 minutes left in the game. It's literally the same free throw, the same, you're the same distance from the basket. There's the same amount of people around, like situation is exactly the same, except it's later in the game. And
Hmm.
people start to think about what could go wrong
Hmm.
instead of finishing what could go right. And I think part of it is you're putting so much pressure on yourself at the end. It's if this doesn't go right, like this is going to be my problem. Instead of just taking the breath, reminding yourself you've done this a million times, and you're going to do it
Hmm.
exactly the same way that you've done every time you've gotten a sale.
And I think another reason that like the pressure is stronger than it's ever been before is because I came into Haibu as basically a trailblazer. I got two promotions
Yep.
in like 11 months. Everyone talks about me. Everyone knew I talked to is like, oh, Melissa Wing, and that's
Uh huh.
like, I'd rather you just not know my name, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody does. And so I feel like there's an expectation there that I have to
Mm-hmm.
still stay at their standards because everyone talks about me as the success story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what's
Um.
making me like,
Feel the pressure and the
yeah,
nerves.
geez.
Um. I know you're utilizing. Well, you want to create warm settings because that's where you're best. I know you're utilizing a lot of networking groups. Did you ask at the last networking group at all for anybody specific on your list?
Um, on Wednesday, because I was out of town the week before
Oh,
you
that's
were out
right.
of town. So on Wednesday is going to be my first real week back. So I was going to take the list that I have and ask for like three of them and
Yeah,
see if anyone has an introduction for one of those.
yeah,
I
and be super specific. That's going to help when you do your little 30-second commercial.
mhm.
Is that a 30-second commercial group?
It's more like a minute, but yeah.
Okay, what kind of things are you saying in that minute?
Um, I say mainly because marketers are a dime a dozen unless
Mm-hmm.
you know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to say what makes us different. What makes us different is we educate while we're doing your marketing program. So you understand how they work, why they work that way, and you're able to see better results because of it. Because
Right.
you have a buy-in. And I change it every single week because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like you never know what is going to hit them.
Mm-hmm.
So every week I focus on something different.
So what you're saying there is awesome for me if I'm looking to hire you,
Mhm.
right? Like, hey, you're going to educate me on what you're doing. Cool. But remember the people in the room, well, in some of the rooms you're in, you are looking to sell to some of those people.
Yeah.
But you're
But
also
typically
one,
it's to their referral sources.
right. And so it's, what are you saying to me? Like, okay, that's cool. You're going to educate them on the way. Like, that doesn't stick out to me. That makes me think about, oh, I need to connect somebody with you. But like what you just said,
I
right?
also say, one of the things that I say when I'm trying to get people outside of the room is,
Hmm.
hey, have you heard? Oh, it's so slow right now because of the economy. It's slow
Hmm.
right now because of the tariffs. It's slow right now because of this. The pie is out there. It's are they getting their piece of it? And
Hmm.
that's what I can help with. So
Right.
it's not the economy, it's not the tariffs, it's not any of these things. It's their marketing. And I
Right.
think that that really hits because then they know what to listen out for.
Right. And I think also, you can ask, hey, like, do any of you have friends or any of your friends' businesses talking about how slow? I mean, like, get really specific and
Yeah.
like super like, have any of your friends complained that their business is slow because the economy, because the tariffs? I would love to have a conversation with them and show them like, and then talk about like how there are companies that are getting the people. They're just not getting the people. People are buying, they're just not finding them, or
Yeah.
whatever that next step is for you. But
Yeah.
like really make it crystal clear. Like if you've had a friend mention this, if you've seen any of your friends talking about how the tariffs are crushing their business, that would be huge. I love how you talked about the broken links.
Hmm.
Have you been to anybody's page and saw a broken link? I'd love to talk to them about how to fix that so that they're not missing opportunities. Um, like really try to make that stick out. Cause like you said, I mean, the room that we were in, there were what, three marketers?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, okay, so all I think of is you're going to do my website and what do I need you to do it? I can do it on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the difference? And if I
Right.
do it,
And I think one of the examples that you use, say, you know, you have a t-shirt company, but when somebody searches t-shirt company, is it coming up in the search engine? If it's not coming up in the search engine, nobody's finding you. Somebody else is getting the business.
hmm
And say, like, my company will make sure you're showing up and people are getting the business. Like, break it down that simple because people hear digital marketing and it's anything from, you're going to do some of my social media posts.
Yeah.
And like you might be, but like how many people are doing the social media posts for companies that suck? Like I tell people all the time, like, you pay somebody to do this for you because it's horrible.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's not doing anything for you. And it's going to a business page that has zero following.
Exactly.
So you're wasting a lot of time and money. And I think if you can like reiterate for people like, hey, I'd love to sit down with you or your company or a friend that might be their business might feel like they're struggling and figure out where the gaps are in their spending and make sure that they're funneling their resources into the best places that are going to get them paid.
I
Like,
mean, with our data, we can get as granular as for business coaches in Plant City, there are 20,000 searches a month.
mm-hmm,
Are you even showing up as a business coach in Plant City?
mm-hmm,
Is that important to you? There's
right,
20,000 people a month looking for it,
right.
and you're not an option. That's why you're slow. Like we're
Okay.
able to do that.
So
So,
what you just said right there is what you need to say at the networking groups, right? Like, and even if you pick a particular business that you highlight that week or whatever, like if it is
mhm.
something about coaches, business coaches, fitness
Yeah,
coaches, nutrition, whatever, and then you can say, I can do the same for your industry and the industry of the people that you know. But that suddenly makes me like, oh shit. Like if I'm charging, whatever, at the time when I was doing fitness and nutrition, I was charging $2,100 for 3 months.
yeah.
Well, how much would I be paying you? What if
Maybe
I'm
eight for you for fitness and nutrition, probably $800.
so if I was paying 800 a month,
And I was getting you 5 extra clients a month. That's
yeah,
freaking huge.
yeah. And so that's the next piece that people need to see. Now, I know you do that when you get to an appointment, but you need them to
I
like
need to,
note that
yeah,
number
I
before
need
the
to do it
appointment.
beforehand to make them want to sit down with me.
And that's some of the pitch within your networking group, right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of your networking groups there, especially if it's like, like a coaching business where they're just getting started, they're trying to figure out like they don't see the extra income they have. But if you say, if I can show you how this much money can be this much money, would you be interested in at least learning about it? Right?
Yeah.
Like if I can at least show you, and then you at least have the information to make an informed decision. Maybe now isn't the right time for you, but now you know what's possible. Like,
hmm
I don't want to get in the ads game. I'm terrified about the ads game because I don't understand it. And I
hmm
know that you potentially have to put a lot of money out before you see the return. I know the return is there,
hmm
but I had friends spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars before they got the return they needed. But if you have the data and the numbers and you're laying it out for somebody, that's a different story. That's another pitch that you can think about when you go into one of those networking groups, right? Have you ever thought about doing paid ads? But you're terrified because you know how much it's going to cost before you get your winning ad. I'd love to sit down with you and show you the numbers for your industry and how we help people literally get returns on their investment so they don't even feel that loss.
And the thing is with ads, and this is why I like to educate so much, is if you have a strategic plan with your search and you're doing it the right way, you should get results month one, not month five, because you've been playing the
Hmm.
lottery, changing things
Hmm.
around and hoping that it works. If your plan is strategic from the beginning because you're working with someone who knows what they're doing, your 3-to-1 ROI or your 10-to-1 ROI should be in month one, not in month
Hmm.
five.
Yep.
But it is like playing the lottery. You're throwing money out, hoping it sticks, hoping you're using the right
Hmm.
keywords. But a true marketer knows the keywords, knows how many searches it's bringing in a month. Knows I've already talked to you, so I know if I bring you 10 potential leads, you're going to close 2 of them. So if you want 4 extra clients a month, I need to bring you 20 leads. And
Right.
this is how much that would cost, but this is how much it's going to make you. Like it should be that strategic.
Hmm.
And but that's something because people start off trying to do it themselves or they hire
Hmm.
their friend
That does
that
not have a clue.
it doesn't work that way. And but now it can be as strategic as that. And that's what I do in my first appointment is find out what the needs are, find out what
Hmm.
your average client is worth, then go back and look at the results and say if you spend this much, you should make this month much and here's 5
And
clients that I
that's
have that are doing it.
and that when you do that, there's no charge for that appointment.
No. No.
Okay, so you need to tell people you do like, and you've got to just call it something that's not
Mm-hmm.
an appointment. You know,
A
like I call,
consultation.
yeah, or I even call it a strategy session. People like
Yeah.
strategy. It
Yeah.
sounds good because you're literally going to show them. And even if they don't hire you, you have now given them the information they need.
Mm-hmm.
So if nothing else, they're going to have a strategy that they could put in place,
Yeah.
right? And so if you hype that a little bit more, talk that, I can go in and sit down with a company and show them exactly how much money they would need to spend in order to make a certain amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will show them exactly how to do it, right? Because you're gonna
And then I
you're
can
gonna
prove the results after, like,
yeah. And I will show you people in your industry and what they're spending to get what you're looking for. And you say, and a marketer that does have a strategic plan is going to get you there. If you know somebody or you are somebody that has paid for services for more than 3 months and have not had a significant return on your ROI, you may want to have a consultation. You may want to have a strategy session. It's not going
mm-hmm.
to cost you anything to sit down and look at numbers.
Yeah.
And that might get you in. It's amazing how many people I see spend insane money. And I'm like, what are you getting?
Yeah. They're breaking even in a lot of cases. They're like, I spent
I don't
10
even know if
grand
the
this
people that
month.
I see are breaking even. Like, I don't even know if that's a thing for them.
To me, if when I sit down with you, and I don't know this until I sit down with you, but if I can't bring you a minimum of a 3-to-1 ROI, you're just not a good fit
Mhm.
for our company. And if I'm sorry, but if I hand someone $1 and they hand me at least $3 back every single time, and sometimes
Okay.
that $3 is $10, I'll do that all day long, every day.
Hold that number. Ask, like, literally open up the next time you go to a session. Could anybody stand to make 3 times more? Like, would anybody want to make 3 times more than they are now? Do you know anybody that wants to be making 3 times more than they are now? Get on my calendar, schedule a strategy session, and I will show you exactly how I will get you a 3-to-1 return every month on the month and more. Like if that does not grab people's attention, nothing's going to. Like 3-to-1, like
Yeah,
boom, here's the money.
I think, and I'm glad we're talking about this because I know that once I get the appointment, I can prove the value. But I
Right.
need to prove the value to get the appointment, and that might be
But
what
I
is
mean, three
the
to one
game
right there.
changer.
If you're like, I'm going to show you for free how I'm going to get you 3 times what you're currently making.
Minimum.
Yeah.
And if I
Like,
can't do that at the end of our strategy session, then I'm going to tell you we're not a good fit for each other.
right. Like, boom, done. And
Because,
regardless, you're going to talk to them about strategy. So they're
yeah,
still going to gain value and benefit. Like you're explaining like what they need to do, just not how they're actually going to do it.
yeah.
Right? What is it? You tell them, you sell them the how. You show them the why, you sell them the how. I forget how that goes now.
You're selling the sizzle, not the steak.
That works too. That works too. Um, but it's just like when people have like those video sales letters, right?
Mhm.
And they're like, "Oh, all right, like I'm going to show you how I walked a client through these things." But then you're going to sell like you actually helping them do that. Right?
Yeah.
Like when I did fitness and nutrition, it was like vague, right? Like
Mhm.
we're not going to be counting calories. We're going to work out for like 30 minutes a day. Like we're going to talk through those things, but they don't know at the end, like they have to work with me to find out, okay, but like what are you going to be eating? Right? Like
Mhm.
what types of workouts are you going to do? Right? Like they could figure it out on their own or they can
Maybe.
hire me to like lay it out.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, I like this because that's definitely something I like. I know if I can get the appointment that I can prove the value and that
mhm,
I know if they're a good fit. And another thing that we're able to do in strategic marketing is like if I'm working with a plumber, I'm not trying to get them the next clogged toilet job. I'm trying to get them a whole house repipe. So that's what we're focused on because that job is $5,000, whereas that clogged toilet might be 50.
mhm,
And that's the difference in strategic marketing is you're not trying to get everything. You're trying to get
mhm.
the things that make them the most money. And that's how it's easy to get the ROI if you know what you're doing.
So that's another pitch for another 30-second commercial. Say, we don't just do digital marketing, we do strategic digital marketing. And what that means, for example, you have a plumber. I'm not going to bring you 10 low paying jobs. I'm going to bring you the whole house repipe, right? Like exactly how you said it. Like I'm not going to bring you a couple clogged toilets to fix. I'm going to bring you the clients that need the whole house done. Say, and that's what we do strategically and then say like for specific businesses. If you have another easy example. Um,
Um, Pretty much anything. AC. We're not trying to get you the AC repair. We're trying to get you the AC replacement.
right.
And we can focus specifically on that. For an auto repair shop, we're not trying to get you the oil change. We're trying to get you the transmission repair. And we
Yep.
can get you more of those kind of jobs. Because when I ask them, are you as busy as you want to be? If they
Right.
say yes, then my rebuttal could be, well, is it with the right type of jobs?
Right.
And I know every industry well enough
Right.
by now to where I can say, are you, would it make sense to talk to me if I could get you more of X type of jobs versus what you're doing now?
Right.
If you were busier with the higher paying jobs, would that
Mhm.
make sense for you to have a conversation with me? Because that's what we can do with strategic marketing.
Right. You know, are you the realtor that's trying to sell 10 houses at 200,000 or would you like a couple at 500,000?
Right. Or are you the realtor that's going out all day to get put someone in a rental? Or
Yeah.
or are you selling the
Yeah.
house?
Um, and think about some of the examples, like think about the room that you're going into. If it's a group that you meet with regularly and there's like four or five realtors, make it an example that might stick out to them.
I do that on purpose. So like
Yeah.
I'll see who's in the room, especially if it's an industry I want to target, and I make my example based off of that
Yep.
because I've had a lot of good success afterwards getting the appointment with the person that I had targeted.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
that's something I don't have a problem doing. But um yeah, I think this has been really helpful because I actually have to do a ride along today with a
Nice.
potential employee. And the whole thing is to go do drop-in so we can see what a day in the life is like. So I'm going
Right.
to put some of what we talked about today into practice to
Right.
ask the extra questions to prove that I've never worked so hard to prove value for the appointment. And I
Hmm.
think I could be 10 times more successful if it took me less drop-ins to get more appointments and I
Right.
proved
How
the
much
value.
more time would it take to get that information to be more valuable?
I think I can do, I mean, I'm good
It's
on my
not going to
feet.
take you that much longer to give that much more value.
No, less than
Okay.
5 minutes.
Okay. Then
And
yes.
if I ended up with 2 to 3 appointments a day versus one appointment every couple of days, those extra 5 minutes were definitely worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can show that value, and again, like when you go to those networking groups, right? Like you've piqued my interest, you've piqued my curiosity. Like, okay, how, like when we're done with all our sessions, I'll be like, all right, it's time. Like lay out for me what you could do for me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
but I know the more you get in front of people and share what it is you're doing, but how it applies like directly to them, not in industry terms.
yeah,
Like when you say we do strategic marketing, and what that means is like
yeah.
follow it up, because people are like, oh, strategic marketing, okay.
What's
It goes
that?
over our head because we don't
Yeah.
care. I know Carrie Pate,
Hmm.
right? And one of the things that she used to say, we were in a networking group together, and every week she talks about this financial GPS. We will do a free financial GPS for you. And every week I
Nobody
was like,
knows what that
Carrie,
is.
stop saying that, because nobody knows what it is. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter to them. What you need to tell the people that were in that room is, I go to your house and sit down with you and look at where you are and where you want to be and figure out how to get there.
And give you a blueprint for
Yeah.
success on
And
exactly
and
what
you
you
go to
have to
their
do.
house. That's why I had her work. I had my parents move. They needed to redo their wills, and they have that whole like legal department thing. The
Hmm.
reason that I connected them was because I said, hey, and I'm going to count this as a 30-minute. Um, so don't worry about the couple extra minutes here. But I was like, hey, like, mom, I have somebody that's just going to come to your house. They're like, well, we can go somewhere. I'm like, nope, that's what they do. They just go to your house. So let her come to your house. She'll sit down. She'll connect you with what you need. Make sure you have the numbers. Like, boom, done. I'm like, that's what you need to be selling at your networking meeting.
Yeah.
Like, do you have family members that need to make changes in whatever? Like, I will go to their house, sit down with them, make sure they're comfortable, they understand everything they need, they're in their space, right? Like, especially with finances. If somebody would
Hmm.
come and sit down at my table with me to do my finances as opposed to going into like some cold, heartless looking office.
With a stack of paperwork like this, when you can
Yeah.
just pull your last statement while you're in your own home.
Yeah. Like where you're like comfortable. I'm like, pitch that. Stop talking financial GPS. Nobody cares. I was
Yeah.
like, and it has to be something that's going to stick that I want to tell other people, right? Like when you're in the networking meeting. So like, when I get off here with you, I'm be talking to some people and be like, okay, I know somebody that's getting minimally 3-to-1 ROI in the first month, or she's not going to work with you. Like, boom.
Yeah.
That's what I took away in our 45 minutes. Like, I
I
don't know
like
what you.
it because honestly, and a lot of that has to do with the types of businesses we target because we're targeting home services. The
Hmm.
sale for them is thousands of dollars.
Hmm.
So
Right.
it's real easy for me to put together $1,000 program and make them five or make them
Hmm.
10 because I like a hair salon, probably not a good fit for me because it's a 30 to $100 service. I would have to get them a lot of those to
Right.
justify $1,000 program.
Right. Is that the lowest level program, or do you have other tier
800.
options? Okay.
800 is the lowest level program. So if I can't make those numbers math,
Right.
then it's
That
not a
makes
good
sense.
fit.
Okay.
Like if it's like if it's an $800 program and it's a $50 service, what is that? 800 divided by 50. That's 16 sales I have to get them.
Gotcha.
And if I have to bring them
Yeah. However many to get the 16. Yeah.
times 10, if I have to bring them 10 potential customers to get them those sales, then that's 160 calls I have to bring them in a month.
Right.
That's a
And I
lot.
think I think that's not a terrible thing to tell people, like, you know, our service isn't for everyone.
Everyone. Yeah.
But we don't know until we sit down and look at the numbers. And if the numbers don't make sense, because I think a lot of especially because I hear digital marketers and I think of my social media and my website. People
Yeah.
don't actually know or understand SEO.
No, no, they don't. I actually
They
do
don't know what that they don't know what that means. You say
no.
search, and then if you say search engine optimization, forget it, it's worse.
Yeah, it's worse. Yeah.
And so that's where like when you go to those networking things, it's like dumb that language down. Like you said, do you want to be the first name that pops up in the Google search?
Yeah.
That's what SEO means, and I can help you end up higher on the page through a
Yeah.
strategic plan that's going to get you higher on the page, that's going to bring more people in, that's going to give you more return for the dollars you're putting out.
And I
Instead
can
of
make it
spending
pay
money,
for itself by also combining that with the search campaign at the same time. So while we're building up, getting you on the first page of Google,
right?
we're
You've
doing
got,
something that's going to drive revenue.
and then the other piece is like also highlights people because a lot of people hate social media, but they think that's the only way to generate business.
And it's the honestly, it
It's,
depends. If they're selling like a product, it definitely works.
yeah,
If they're selling a service, it's a lot
it,
harder
yeah.
to
Unless you're
convert.
doing I mean, it can be really tough and you've got to do like a lot of like uncomfortable things.
Yeah,
And you can even
all
say
the
like, hey,
time.
are you somebody who, really hates social media, but is looking for a way to bring in more customers? Let's sit down and take a strategic look at your business, what you're doing, and see if there are better options for you.
Yeah.
Some of the best, you can say some of your best clients probably don't use any social media.
We might do ads for them, and
Right.
I will suggest that they update their page at least once a week so that it looks like an active page, but
Right.
only if 10% of the followers on your page ever see your post.
Right.
10%,
Right. You
maybe.
only have, I mean, I have so many like realtor friends that they don't want to post on their personal page. So they create a business page. I'm like, your business page is doing nothing for your business unless you're doing paid ads.
Yeah, and that's a
Like
fact.
if you're not like, I have a business page that nothing goes to, I have it there for when I do eventually decide to do paid ads. Like that's the
Yeah.
only reason it's there. And
And another thing about like if you use a company that knows what they're doing, not only are we targeting the demographic in social media, but it also those ads will not show up unless they're already looking for your services.
right.
So
So you're
like
not wasting money.
yeah, so a plumbing ad isn't going to show up unless they already went on Google, looked for a plumber, and that triggers the ad on social media for the right demographic. It's
Oh,
very powerful that way, but you can't do that on your own.
all right. So I had another thought for you before we jump off. Um, like you want people to like feel something and be connected right away, right?
Yeah.
So, when you're at like a networking group in particular, like, hey, have you ever looked up something on Google and then you went on Facebook and now all you see are ads for that thing?
Yeah.
How
I can
awesome
do
would
that.
that be for your business for that to happen if suddenly you started showing up on people's pages? That's what I do. That's what I do for people. Like now it's super clear, like, oh, you help people see my stuff.
Yeah.
Like you have like, especially for those groups, like dumb it down so much, but where it's like, oh, I've experienced that. Like I had that. We literally got off our cruise. That is all the ads I'm getting on every social media platform. Every
Yeah.
cruise lines I did not even know existed. That is all I see now because somebody has a strategic marketer doing their job. But
And
yeah,
they heard you talking about a cruise.
yeah. So I would also utilize that. I will upload this recording into your stuff. Um, so if you did you access that Google folder I sent you?
Yes, I have access
Okay.
to it.
So I'll update some notes here. And then there is a spot where I upload all the videos and then I'll put the link where there's like a recorded video page in case there's anything you want to go back to or look at. The rest of the folder, you don't need to worry about a whole lot of stuff in there. So when you go in there, it says Ignite Excellence Program.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bunch of stuff that we could talk through. Some of it we may mention at some point. It's just sort of generic things that got put in the folder. But some of the stuff that I'll make sure that we talk a little bit about next time is a little bit of the visualization, ways to get yourself present, ways to try to get out of your head a little more. In the meantime, I think just talking through this probably got you a little fired up and a little out of
Yeah,
your head.
and I'm gonna try to, I actually put a sticky note on my desk that literally just says pitch the appointment.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Yeah, pitch.
my
You got
key
to be pitching more
takeaway.
appointments because an appointment with you is so valuable
Hmm.
to the person, whether they hire you or not. It is going to give them insight that they didn't have before. And
Right.
if you can pitch the value of that, like, I used to do a lot better when I pitched my strategy call. Say like, this is what you're going to leave this call with, right? You're going to leave with like right now, it's like better clarity, a plan, and some strategies that are going to get you closer to where you're going.
And I
With
used to
fitness,
always say at the very end of our meeting, you're going to have things that you can use yourself to grow, whether you use me or not.
right,
I'm gonna give you some valuable insight that you can use to then grow, whether you use me or not. Like, I
right.
don't care if you even take that back to your marketer and see if they can implement it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, if you can highlight the value, because, and that's the thing, especially when people are like looking online, the coach that I ended up hiring, I have followed him for 4 years on social media. He pitched a strategy call with him, I don't know how many times, and I knew him personally from college. And it still took me 4 years to finally reach out because I'm like, oh, geez. So
mhm.
but when you can have so much value that it's like, all right, this is what I need. Like, I don't have a choice anymore, and I'm going to get that value whether I hire him. Like, I need that insight. Um, so yeah, I love that. I have you scheduled. So what we'll do like next time, I'll find out like what your wins were for the week, how the week went, where you're at with your numbers, what the struggles still are. We'll talk some strategies to get through whatever struggles you're having that week. Um, and then I'll bring in some of this additional stuff depending on where you're at that's most relevant,
Okay,
to kind of round out our 30 minutes.
awesome,
Sound
awesome.
sound reasonable?
Yeah, no,
All right.
I'm
I'm pumped.
pumped. I'm actually pumped to get out there and get rejected today.
Well, you're not. You're not going to be rejected.
I'm not. I'm
You're
going to get
you're,
appointments. I'm going to
you're going to
show
get the
this guy
appointment.
how
Well,
kick
and you're going
ass
to
I can be.
well, and if they're like, "Hey, like we have somebody," be like, "That's awesome. I don't want to step on their toes, but I would love, would you be interested in me providing you some information that you can share with them?"
Yeah.
They might be
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
And yeah, I do try to say that. I say, look, I'm not trying to replace anything that you have that's currently working for you by any means. But I think once I show you what I've seen online, you may
right.
find that you have some gaps that I can fill.
Yeah." Or if I can show you some gaps, would you want to know them and how to fix them?
Yeah. I
Like,
like
yeah, I would love to know what my gaps are and how to fix them. That would be awesome. And oh, I don't need you to do it. I can let my other person do it. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. And I say that because I know that I'm going to provide so much value that
That they'll be
their
like, oh,
person
other
isn't
person,
going to
I
know
don't
how
need
to
you
fix.
anymore.
Yeah, so I say, look, I don't care if I bring you this information and you take it back to your marketer and have them do it for you if
Right.
they can. But at least you'll have the information and that second opinion that can help you grow even more this year.
Well, and I bet you a lot of people think they have a digital marketer that they don't because people call themselves digital marketers. And so that's the
Yeah.
other thing. Like, it could be, your person might not be doing these things because that's just not what they do.
Hmm.
And so that's that opportunity. Awesome. Well, you're going to crush the heck out of the week. You're going to like shoot me a message when you get like like not just an appointment, but like another sale. So I'll be like, sweet, we're ahead of the game.
Quick thing, I
Yes.
am going to send you an email today to kind of give you the information about that May event.
Okay. The 13th.
Yes. And a meeting that we are having on May 5th at 4 o'clock, just to go over how the day looks, how you can
Hmm.
prepare for it, and answer any questions.
Is that an in-person?
No, it's a Zoom.
Okay. Um, my next question. So we are supposed to close on our house.
Hmm.
They're looking to move it up, and I'm also having to move my fiance's mother from Georgia. Um, if I is if I cannot do that day,
Mm-hmm.
am I able to get out of that? And when is my drop dead date to tell you?
You can basically even tell me the day before and I can
I
make
mean,
adjustments to the
I'm
calendar.
hoping to have all of our, like, the 13th was one of the potential days that I'd have to go pick up her. In order to move her mom, my
Hmm.
fiance needs to drive me to Georgia so that I can get a truck in Georgia and drive her mom back. And the 13th is one of the days my fiance has off from work. So I was
Okay.
like, ooh, I was like, let me find out. I don't think it's a problem right now. I will
Yeah.
certainly let you know before the 5th in case there's somebody else that, wants to do this and can take a spot. I don't want to do
With
that.
this particular event, it's not necessarily a speaking engagement. It's
Right.
more you're going to have that table set up. So we have
Okay.
other vendors to where if we were short one, it's not going to hurt the event. So
Okay.
if it can work, great. If it can't, that's fine too. It's
Okay.
not going to
What time
hurt
is,
my
oh, you
feelings either
said you're going
way.
to send a meeting about, send an
Yeah.
email about that meeting. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll know before then, for sure. So I can let you
Okay.
know.
Awesome.
But yeah, I had a note to ask you that and forgot. So there we go.
There we
Um,
go.
all right, I'm going to stop.